You guys got a situation here. I hope you all are doing well. Today is August 3rd. It is a full moon in Aquarius, honey. Okay, so we're here for it. But I wanted to come on here and just share my thoughts with you guys. I do have Pisces in my chart, so my mind is like always on 1000. Okay, just my thoughts and just I'm really interested in understanding who we are as people, the things that we go through, our experiences as individuals, and spiritually, right, physically. So I were meditating earlier, right, and integrity and morals came up, and so I did do a small little clip video for you guys. You guys can check that out on my channel as well. But it's I think I want to go a little bit more deeper, right, when we think about like integrity and when we think about morals, right, and how it really affects us when people do certain things to us, and how that makes us really feel, right? And so what came up was that I don't believe we should be upset when people show us who they really are. Okay, let me say that again. I don't think that we should be upset when people show us who they really are, because I believe that it can save lives. When you understand who a person is and how they operate and how they are, it can really save you, right? And so the reasons why we become so upset when people show us who they really are, and that isn't the representative that they have shown us all of the time, right? However long the relationship or friendship, whatever you want to call it, right? However long that time was spent, we want to go back and look and say, you know what, I'm upset about this. You didn't tell me this. You didn't explain this to me. You didn't say that, da 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 da. But it's like, okay, we can say all of that when we do revisit why we're upset, or we can say, you know what, I think that it is a blessing that this person showed me, right? And I do believe that there are signs, of course, there are red, the red flags go off, right? And we just feel like, well, you know, I'm hurt, I've been hurt, I've gone through some stuff, so I can understand this person and I can have compassion for them. So they probably have gone through some of the similar things that I have gone through. Fine. But we do see those signs, right? And I think that we do ignore, because we sometimes want to have compassion, and I also believe sometimes we ignore those signs because we just overall think that, again, people go through the same things we go through, and we can understand that based on a level of like, okay, this is where I were in my life, what have you, right? And so again, I think that it's a blessing in disguise when people really show you who they are, because just think about if you really have gone to the deep end with this person, not that person actually, but like a representative of that person, right? Just think about the time spent, why you were there in that friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, right? We have to ask ourselves, why? Just follow me here. Why? Am I upset that they show me who they are? Or am I upset at myself because I knew certain things and I didn't ask the questions why? I just felt the need to have compassion, or I just felt the need to be a backbone for that person, right? And so I think, just to add a little bit of understanding, I think that where we are and who we are at that time in those relationships also get something, you know, we also get something in return when we're in those relationships, friendships, again, partnerships, whatever, right? We get something out of it, whether it's company, whether it's something material, right? And so I think that we have to really understand why, and understand your part in it also, and also understand the fact that it's a blessing, you know, especially if you are a person who have seen the signs and you may have called the signs out, and a person probably, you know, showed themselves, and that saved you a lot of time, that saved you a lot of energy, you know. So that was really on my mind today, and I was like, let me just make a video about that, because, you know, we get upset. We're humans, so of course we get upset. We have human emotions when people do things, when we do things, right? We feel hurt behind it, or we feel sad about it. But it's also a blessing when you look at the same situation with a different pair of lenses, right? With a different pair of eyes, and you say, you know what? Okay, this hurt me at the time, but I understand why I went through this. However, it didn't go as further as it could have went. So I'm happy about that. It's always, what I've learned, it's always a blessing in disguise when something ends, when something begins, because it's like you understand, like, yes, I'm glad that this happened. Even though it's a process, anything's a process, everything is a process. So when we go through things, we have to, yes, ask the questions why, reevaluate, go back to the situation, look at, you know, the circumstances, look at yourself, look at that other person. It's a whole wind of, you know, questions, right? That's fine. But when we actually look back, we can say, you know what? I'm glad that this happened. I'm glad that this happened. I'm glad that everything played out the way that it needed to, because now I'm able to see myself in that other person, in the situation, and say, you know what? That's something else I can learn from. That's another life lesson. That's another cycle completed, you know? So I was just thinking about that. And another thing, what I wanted to dive more into is the integrity and the morals, and how, so when we dive into the dark side, and, you know, the dark side of the mind, and suppressed energies, you know, stuff like that, the dark side, right? The wild side, okay? I understand and interpret a certain type of way. Morals is a representative. It's something that you put on when you go out, when you meet people, you know, when you put your best foot forward, if you want to say that. But integrity is something that you have. Integrity is something that is hidden also, right? Integrity is something that is deep within the shadows. And it's like a person who have integrity, they are able to bring that with them everywhere they go. They're able to be themselves, you know, be themselves at home, in public, at a friend's house, at work, right? Opposed to a person who have just this self-righteous, moral-based code, right? Oh, well, you know, I have to be a good person and I have to put my best foot forward. But it's like, okay, yeah, but is that really who you are, though? Are you just doing that to save face, or are you really being that person, right? And what I mean by being that person, you have to embody that, not just in front of other people, not just on social media, but like in everyday life. Like when people know you, for the people every day who know you in your everyday life, can they say like, okay, this is a person of integrity, right? And that's how I really interpret it. It's like, you're going to bring that everywhere you go. It's not going to be something that you, of course, pretend, you know, it's going to be something that you really embody. And again, when we're dealing with the dark side, when we're dealing with the shadow side, those things really come up because we're going to be tested. We're going to be tested on how, when we begin to understand magic and, you know, spirituality. Let me just give you guys a personal, let me just share something personal with you guys. When I first began my journey, I had to understand who I were before I understood like the fullness of magic, chaos magic, you know, dark energy, dark matter. I had to really understand, and I'm glad about that, because a lot of people get into this work and they're getting into the work just to, I guess, do things to other people, or they're getting into the work, into the craft to say that they're powerful. And really, I just wanted to know the truth, right? I just wanted to understand, okay, what are we doing here? What am I doing here? What is this thing called life? And I want to know. I don't need to know all of the answers. I just need to know something. And that's what set me on my path, right? And so I had to understand who I were as a person. And when I look back, I can honestly say that I've always had those attributes about me. Like, I've always been a person that was direct, like in your face. I'm an Aries sun, okay? So shout out to the Aries. But we are really honest people. Like, we're just going to say how we feel and we're just going to leave it like that, right? And so when I began my journey, I didn't understand to the full capacity of like, okay, well, this is magic and this is, you know, the self-integrity and this is, you know, self-love. I had to really take a step back. I didn't get into this whole aspect of myself until I learned who I were as a person, right? I had to really sit down with myself, and it took me a couple of years to like actually unpack a lot of different things about myself. And I was like, okay, wow, you know, wow, opposed to me getting involved in something and then everything backfire. And then I'm like, okay, I have to be humbled. I was already like, I'm a humble person anyway, so I was already like, okay, you know what, I've been through so much. I just want to know the truth about things. I'm on the next journey. I want to understand who I am, you know. So that's how all of that came into play. But, you know, it's easy to say I'm self-righteous and I have morals. But I think it's a little bit more difficult to say like, okay, I have integrity. I have something that is deep within, right? And like I said, you will understand that because it's who you've always been. You know, of course, we have to unpack and get ourselves together as far as our emotions and how we treat other people, and go deep inside of those wounds, childhood wounds. I talk about that a lot. And, you know, different things that have happened to us personally and the things that have taken place with us. But yeah, you know, integrity it's on a deeper level, I feel. And whether you're a person who practice magic or, you know, practice self-love, you're going to see that integrity. You know, it's like you're going to want to embody that, you know. So yeah, that's my take on integrity. And this is the look that I have for today. So I did a smoky glitter eye, okay, with a soft pink lip and a full face, of course, right? So I'm just getting into the energies of divine feminine and dark moon, okay, Lilith. So, but yeah, I just wanted to come on here and share that with you guys, because I feel that in these times, everything that's going on right now, how can we hide from the truth? The truth is like right here in our face, whether it's on the internet and people are exposing who they are, or it's in our everyday lives and things are just everything is coming up. It's like 2020 vision. Everything is coming up to the surface, and that's a good thing. You know, of course, with everything that is going on in the world, and you know, people that are losing their lives, of course, that's a whole nother, you know, the transitioning and stuff like that. And my heart do go out to those individuals, but just on a spiritual level, I think we understand where we're moving towards as a collective, right? And that's coming into individual base, understanding consciousness, subconsciousness, and really just understanding who we are also as a collective, and the timelines and the things that everything, you know, the things that we've been through like thus far. And just to let me go backwards a little bit and talk about, along with the integrity and everything, moral base, the generational curses, right? And how a lot of those things have been coming up also. I know for me personally, I've been doing a lot of ancestral work, and so with ancestral work, you will find that a lot of things have come up from the past. You know, a lot of things have taken place, even on a family-based level. So a lot of that stuff is also coming up to be looked at. So yeah, just ancestral work can really open up your eyes to a lot, you know, especially with bloodlines and, again, things that have taken place within the past. If you see the patterns within your own families, it's a lot. So and it's something that we can't turn our blind eye to. Like, in this era, like what's going on right now, it's not smart to just say, well, you know, I'm just going to separate myself and go over here and just live my life. And it's like, well, and I always say this, we're one day going to be elders, okay? The next generation look to us to bring them information and bring them spiritual practices, and we have to connect, we have to reconnect, right? Somewhere along the line we lost ourselves. You know, I don't know if it was because of material, because of doing what we wanted to do or what we think that was best, and we just totally lost ourselves, right? As a bloodline, as a, you know, family base, right? And it's like, well, we have to get back to that now. It's time. It's a brand new timeline, new blueprints, right? And it's good to dive into those things and really understand the energies that we have at hand. We have Chiron and Aries, we have Uranus and Taurus, we have what's the other, Pluto and Scorpio generation. Okay, so that is transformation all by itself, you know, diving deep into everything, even the Capricorn energy and what's going on with the system and everything. So, but I just wanted to, I don't want to ramble on too long, you guys. I wanted to bring you guys some of those messages because I felt the need to, I felt compelled to. I'm like, let me just share some of this knowledge, okay? So I hope you guys take advantage of this beautiful energy, Leo energy, Leo season, and full moon in Aquarius. Okay, so I will talk to you guys in my next video.